Shalom, shalom, shalom. Once again, yours truly, Brother Kedwin Yah. And the Yah is the Yahweh and his Christ, Yeshuwah HaMashiach. Back at you again. It is April the 19th, 2023. And we back at you again with part 2 of Are We Still Under the Law? Are we still under the law? And as I stated in part 1, I have reason to believe that we should be. If you're not, you should be. So what we're going to do is, because I had ran out of juice on part 1, and I had to cut the episode short. However, I'm picking it back up right where I left off, and where I was at on that episode. Are we still under the law? We was talking about the part in Colossians chapter 2, verse 8, when Paul gave a warning. Paul gave a warning and instructions that you have to be careful and not follow the order of the scribes and the Pharisees over the order of Yahweh. And so what we had established was some facts that in Colossians 2:8, Paul gave that warning, but then he turned right around in Galatians, which was Galatians chapter 3, verses 8 through 11, and then verse 24. In those scriptures, Paul turned around. All of the words that were spoken were from Paul, not Yeshua or Yahweh. Those were words coming from Paul, who is mankind. Okay? So what does mankind say? Now, this is what I say about it all. Right in Deuteronomy 4:2, like I stated in part 1, who gave anybody permission to add and take away from the scriptures? Because right in Deuteronomy 4:2, which is the Torah, the original order of the biblical instructions before leaving earth, the instructions were given never to add to the word or take away from the word. And who has done just that? Everywhere you look, you can see where the Romans, the Europeans, the Yiddish folks, the small hats, so-called Jews, they're the ones who add to the word and take away constantly. This is why I don't like dealing with a lot of different translations, because that's how they add to the word and take away. It's through different translations. They do not all mean the same thing. So, like I said, when I mentioned in part 1, I spoke of why and who are the ones that's always changing things. After the Bible clearly uh, gave us the order not to do so, and guess what? They do it. Just like with the Sabbath, clearly once again, it was spoke of not to mess with the Sabbath, to leave it holy. And guess what? None other than them same folks. They changed the Sabbath. It said to keep that day holy. It was 6 days of work, and on that 7th day, it was supposed to be rest. And guess what? Constantine ordered, when he legalized Christianity, what was that, in AD 325, I do believe. When he did that, he did it as a political move and a political power to be able to control the masses and have more control over the masses. This is why that was done. It was all for a militant position, a military action. You know what I'm saying? A militant action from a Roman official who was a military leader, Constantine. Also, this character I'm getting ready to get to here in a second, because we bringing out the daggers and the jewels today. So with that being said, I'm gonna keep it moving here. And this is tea time with Yahweh. So we gotta turn this atmosphere into just that. Tea time. With Yahweh and his Christ, Yeshuwah. Yes. Oh yeah, y'all know how we do it. We gotta set that mode, set the moment. Yahweh, 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 yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know it. Yep. Uh-huh. Give me some of this coffee going here. Y'all know how I like to do it. I like to be up early with the birds. Listening to the birds chirp. Getting intact with nature. Touching in, tuning in with nature and Yah. Cause this is all his creation. It ain't none of mine. I'm just sitting there with the game, baby. Fitting in with the program. Yep. So we're going to get into this now. And this is part two. Part two of Are We Still Under the Law? Part two. Are we still under the law? And I just went over some information. And like I said, the Roman Empire, these are the ones that we need to keep our eye on. They are the ones that bring the crafty counsel, like right in Psalms 83. Psalms chapter 83, verses 3 through 5. We were given that warning. Right in Psalms 83, 3 through 5. And so, when we talk about the people coming with the crafty counsel, you can't bypass these Yiddish Jews. To be Jewish is a religion. It's a religious connotation. It is not a geographic connotation. Meaning, it's a system of belief. They do not have a landmark. They cannot go back to a landmark that shows them being. Well, like I said before, I can't say that because everybody is from the forefathers. We all are. Thing is everybody went in their own different directions. And what I mean by that is, spoke of the sons of Esau, the people of Edom. Of course, we know that they left and went to different areas. But yeah, they all come from, for starters, Adam and Eve, to Cain and Abel, and from Cain and Abel to Noah, and from Noah to Shem, Ham, and Nephath, and from Nephath, Shem and Ham, to Isaac and Ishmael, the Ishmaelites. Ishmael had attitude at the Abraham and Sarah for doing what they did. Ishmael felt like his inheritance was stolen, and that's why they call us Abid, because Abid means slave. They feel like we owe them, so that's why they feel like they have a right to put us in slavery. Don't forget, the Arabs had us in slavery way longer than the Europeans. They're the ones who taught the Europeans how to do it. So with that being said, let's keep moving with the episode. So when we talk about the Roman Empire, we got to be talking about the Roman Catholics as well. And as I just mentioned, the Arabs, all three of these sectors of people are confederate against us. Yes. So they will, in the scripture it says they will cut them off from being a nation. And let's focus in on that right there. They will cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel will no longer be no remembrance. They have all consulted together against thee. Psalms 83, verses 3 through 5. So right there's your masterminded plan as to take away one's identity, which you already know. I covered, about 8 episodes on that, the stolen identity of the children of Israel. So, yeah, yes, everything comes together. It all comes together like pieces to the puzzle. And you can just see it all right, plain as day. And yeah, jotted down all my notes. So, yeah, I'm looking down, checking out my notes. But, yeah, like right in Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 through 20, says, if you keep the order of the scribes and the Pharisees instead of the laws of Yahweh, you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. That's Matthew 5, 17 through 20. So if it's telling you that, I mean, and clearly today, I can see all over the planet where we are not doing that. We are following the order of these scribes and these Pharisees, who are the whole Roman Empire, the Roman Catholic system, the Vatican, the whole UK, all of the Yiddish small hats, the Arabs. We're nothing but abeds to them. Abed is slaves in Arabic, black slave. So yeah, are we still under the law? I'm gonna say we are. And so this is part 2. And I'm gonna tell y'all now, I'm coming with some real juices, because it's gonna be a second half to this information. And I'm gonna really spring the truth on y'all when I break out on y'all with this information I got on just in the area where we at. Because like I just said, in Colossians, Paul gave the instructions of us not to follow the Pharisees or what mankind says, but Yahweh's laws. Now watch this. Right in Galatians, he turned around and he did just what he instructed us not to do. So like I said, where in the scriptures did it give Paul the authority to say what was what, as far as, is the law still good or is the law not good? So the law was supposedly been nailed to the cross. This is what they want you to believe. And then people running around still living the same way, ain't changed at all. Well, I ain't got to really worry about it, because I know that Jesus died for my sins, and they keep on doing all the same old bullcrap that they be doing. So I mean, come on, let's keep it real. So that's why I say, yeah, we still supposed to be following these laws. I'm pretty sure y'all why. Because see, in Colossians 2:8 it says not to follow the scribes and the Pharisees. And then in Galatians, Paul quotes from Yahweh from the Torah, when Yahweh gave a prophecy to Abraham. And clearly this is Paul speaking. This is not Yahweh speaking here. This is Paul speaking. And it was not Christ speaking. So let's just see. Let's dig into who the character Paul is anyway, and where he came from. Because in the Bible it tell you that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John wrote it, okay? So it says John the Revelator, Mark, Matthew, and Luke, St. John. Now let's really get deep with this. Let's go deep with this. It tells you that in the Bible that they wrote these books, and that they were the authors of these books. Now watch this. In the New Testament, it was written in the King James Version of the Bible, right? Now we already had the Torah, which was a complete Bible already. It was a complete Bible. It was already given order to not add to the Torah or take away from it. So guess what, y'all? The whole New Testament is an add-on to the Torah. But y'all sleepwalking out here. Y'all ain't paying attention to how crafty and smooth they is. This is how they wrote themselves over into the Torah. All they did was take information from the Torah, fit it in, come up with characters, and give the story from their perspective. This is why it's called his story, plainly and simple. They wrote themselves into the biblical information that was already there, which was the Torah. This is how they added on to it, but everybody sleepwalking and don't be peeping game. Now watch this. Flavian Josephus, first century Roman Jewish historian, and also a military leader. Um, this person, Flavian Josephus, I've even heard Flavius Josephus. Um, but anyway, this first century Roman, this is a Roman Jewish historian. Once again, Jewish. Pay attention. And a military leader. Now later, he changed his name to Arius Piso. So here he is, Flavian Josephus, aka Arius Piso. And this is the information on the Piso family. Okay? So, like I said, once again, who gave Paul the information to do what he did? Who gave Paul the instruction to do so? I've never seen it in the scriptures. But he started to when you got someone who's saying don't do this but then turn around and do it, you got to dig deeper. So this is how you come up with, like I said, now here it is, Flavius or Flavian Josephus, later aka changed his name to Arius Piso. The Piso family, these are the true authors of the New Testament. You have the father, which is Arius Piso, then you have his son, Justin Piso, and then you have his son, which is the grandson, Justice Piso. Now, the information has it that it took them over 100 and some years to actually complete it. Now, here's 3 generations of writers who wrote the New Testament. Now, that's funny, in the Bible, you don't see their names in there nowhere as the authors. Clearly, this is an allegory given from the Piso family of the New Testament. And when you say allegory, what does that mean? That means that the characters given in the allegory are fictional characters. They are not living characters. So I don't know what just went on with that one. Your Bluestone device is connected. We'll just let it roll. The devil trying to mess up some stuff. That's all right. We're going to keep it rolling. But anyways, the Piso family came into the picture right along with other people changing things, switching the day of the Sabbath, making us work on Sundays. And they call Sunday the Sabbath, but clearly you ain't even supposed to work on the day of rest, which is the Sabbath, which is really Saturday, the last day of the week. Sunday is the first day of the week. So now here they are. Here they come with the New Testament, and I'm gonna share some information with y'all. Once again, I had mentioned the Council of Nicaea, the Nicene Creed. Now here at the Council of Nicaea, you had a council of 338 bishops, I believe to be exact. They all took a vote on what they would call their Christ. Let me repeat that. There was a vote taken out of 333 bishops on what they were going to call their Christ. Okay, not the original one, Yeshuwah HaMashiach, but their Christ. And so the vote was between 5 different names. Now, I had all this information copied down in my notes. About 8 9 years ago, when I had my radio show, I did a whole episode. I did 2 episodes on this very same topic about the Council of Nicaea, and I had all the stuff wrote down. But anyway, I do remember 4 of the names. However, I do remember 4 of them, and those names are Jesus, Esos, Hercules, and Zeus. Those are the 4 that I remember. It was actually another one, 5, but I don't remember the 5th one. And out of those 4, Jesus, Esos, Esus, that's how it's pronounced, I believe, Esos, Hercules, and Zeus. And out of those names, they chose Jesus as their Christ. So now there's one name, I can't remember that last other name, but anyway, at this meeting, they all agreed that Jesus would be the name they was gonna roll with for their character as to what they were gonna use. And then after they got their character, they wrote a whole story about him, which is the whole New Testament. And I'm getting ready to get deep and show y'all just that. I'm finna show y'all the information on it. Um, you know, this information all was constructed by Constantine, Pope Sylvester, in the Vatican from AD 321 to AD 448. This is when all of that was constructed and went down. Okay. Now, in the King James Version of the Bible, it tells you that Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, St. John, the Revelator, and all of them wrote it. Now, it tells you they wrote the Gospels or whatever, which is really the goat spell. But I ain't even gonna get into that because that's a whole nother topic. So let's check the facts though. I'm finna put y'all up on some information from an individual by the name of Albert Reuchlin. Albert Reuchlin. ALBERLARD REUCHLIN. Um, all of this information I'm getting ready to spring on you right now is from that man. He did a book on it. He had all the information in that book. So what I'm gonna do here is y'all gotta give me a quick moment. I gotta get some little technical stuff going on here. I sure know. I hope this ain't the wrong chord. I hope the devil ain't trying to. I'm gonna turn you into a liar, devil. Excuse me, because either way it go, we're gonna get this done. If I gotta go this route, I probably will just go that route since it's already working right. How about we do that, y'all? We're gonna do just that. The true authorship of the New Testament.
The true authorship of the New Testament.
There we go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Here we go, right here. So I'm getting ready to let y'all peep this out. Now, pay very, 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 very close attention. Now, the audio is going to be like a split second or two off. Just make sure, like I said, pay very, very, very close attention to the information because it's here and it's real. And yeah, let me see. Here we go. Let's do this, y'all. Let's do this, y'all.
Roman Piso family wrote the New Testament, invented Jesus. We Jews and C.G. Hirsch leaders have known since the beginning of Christianity that it was synthesized by the Roman Piso family for the purpose of maintaining control over the masses and to placate slaves. And this is why we Jews are the chosen people. and why we have endured so much for so many years. We are witnesses to the lie. Our ancestors wrote what they could about this in our texts. From chapter 1, the true authorship of the New Testament. The New Testament, the Church, and Christianity were all the creation of the Calpurnius Piso, pronounced Peso with long E, family, of who were Roman aristocrats. The New Testament and all the characters in it, Jesus, all the Josephs, all the Marys, all the disciples, apostles, Paul, and John the Baptist are all fictional. The Pisos created the story and the characters. They tied the story into a specific time and place in history, and they connected it with some peripheral actual people, such as the Herods, Gamaliel, the Roman procurators, etc. But Jesus and everyone involved with him were created, that is, fictional characters. In the middle of the first century of our present era, Rome's aristocracy felt itself confronted with a growing problem. The Jewish religion was continuing to grow in numbers, adding ever more proselytes. Jews numbered more than 8 million, and were 10% of the population of the empire and 20% of that portion living east of Rome. Approximately half or more of the Jews lived outside Palestine, of which many were descended from proselytes, male and female. However, Judaism's ethics and morality were incompatible with the hallowed Roman institution of slavery on which the aristocracy fed, lived and ruled.
Pay
They
attention.
feared that Judaism would become the chief religion of the empire. The Roman author, Annaeus Seneca, tutor and confidant of Emperor Nero, suggested in a letter to his friend Lucilius, a pseudonym of Lucius Piso, that lighting candles on Sabbaths be prohibited. Seneca is later quoted by St. Augustine in his City of God. Although the quotation does not exist in Seneca's extant writings, as charging that the Sabbath customs of that most accursed nation have gained such strength that they have been now received in all lands, the conquered have given laws to the conqueror. The family headed by Seneca's friend, Lucius Piso, was confronted with an allied problem more personal to it. They were the Calpurnius Pisos, who were descended from statesmen and consuls, and from great poets and historians as well. Gaius and Lucius Calpurnius Piso, leaders of the family, had both married Arria the Younger, from her grandfather's name, Aristobulus. This made Gaius, and Lucius Piso's wife, the great-granddaughter of Herod the Great. Repeatedly, religious-minded Judean zealots were staging insurrections against the Herodian rulers of Judea who were Piso's wife's relations. Piso wished to strengthen his wife's family's control of the Judeans. The Pisos searched for a solution to the two problems. They found it in the Jewish holy books, which were the foundation both for the rapid spread of the religion and for the zealots' refusal to be governed by Rome's puppets. The Pisos mocked, but marveled at, the Jewish belief in their holy books. Therefore, they felt a new Jewish book would be the ideal method to pacify the Judeans and strengthen their in-laws' control of the country. About the year 60 AD CE, Lucius Calpurnius Piso composed Marcus, the first version of the Gospel of Mark, which no longer exists.
The information is only
He
for
was
audio.
encouraged by his friend Seneca.
Don't pay attention
and
to the
assisted
video.
by his wife's
Only the
kinsman,
audio.
young Perseus the poet. Nero's mistress, later his wife, Poppaea, was pro-Jewish, and Nero opposed the plan. The result was the Pisanian conspiracy to assassinate Nero, detailed in the historian Tacitus. But this attempt failed when he aborted the plot. Instead, Nero had Piso and Seneca and their fellow conspirators executed by forcing them to commit suicide. He exiled Piso's young son Arius, spelled Arius, herein, who appears in Tacitus under several names, including Antonius Natalis. G. Nero sent young Piso to Syria as governor. That post also gave him command of the legions controlling Judea. His own history records his service in Judea in the year 65 under the name of Gestius Florus, and in 66 with the pseudonym Cestius Gallus. This Arius Calpurnius Piso deliberately provoked the Jewish revolt in 66 so he could destroy the temple in Jerusalem. For the Jews were unwilling to accept his father's story and thereby become pacified by it as it was intended. However, his 12th legion was caught by the Zealots in the pass of Beth Horon and almost lost. Nero's reaction was to exile him instead to Pannonia, to command a legion there, and to send Licinius Mucinus to serve in Syria, and Vespasian to Judea to put down the Jewish revolt. Then in 68, Nero was assassinated by his own slave Epaphroditus. Who unknown to his master was young Piso's lackey. Galba became emperor and named Piso's cousin, Licinianus Piso, as his intended successor, but Galba in turn was soon overthrown by Otho. Otho was then overthrown by Vitellius, at which point Piso and his friends began to flock together against the latter. The Pisos, Mucinus, and Tiberius Alexander all joined ranks behind Vespasian to seek to overthrow Vitellius.
See how they're giving you the scriptures
The word
that they
joined
wrote?
by Frontinus and Agricola. Arius Calpurnius Piso was still commanding the 7th Legion in Pannonia. Austria, Hungary, and Vespasian sent him. Now appearing in Tacitus with the name Marcus Antonius Primus. South across the Alps to overthrow Vitellius. Meanwhile, the main body of Vespasian's legions marched overland under Mucinus from the east towards Rome. Piso succeeded in defeating Vitellius' army and secured Rome for Vespasian. Mucinus arrived and promptly sent him to Judea to help Titus at the siege of Jerusalem.
If you don't take the time
He did so, and in
to
70
search out this type of information, you'll forever be lost.
Slaughtered many thousands.
They're giving you the information right here, how these people moved to power and how they have succeeded at what they do.
Piso wrote in sequence the following. Gospel of Matthew 70 to 75.
They're giving you the scriptures now that he wrote. They're finna break it down, so pay attention.
Luke 85-90 CE. With help of Pliny the Younger, in the Gospel story he inserted himself by playing the role of not only Jesus, but of all the Josephs as well. He particularly enjoyed assuming the identity of Joseph. Wishing to create a Jewish hero, a savior, in fictional form, he and his father before him felt the identity of a second Joseph secretly, but very aptly fit them. For their name Piso had the same 4 letters, rearranged as the 4 Hebrew letters, Yud Vav Samek Fe, which in that language spelled the name Joseph. Thus they saw themselves as the new Joseph. That is why so much of the story of Joseph in Egypt is secretly redone and inserted the gospel story of Jesus. Reference. A. The vowels are pronounced as in, Vito, and, Miso. B. Klausner, Joseph, From Jesus to Paul, Macmillan Co. 1943, pp 33-34. C. Salo Baron, A Social and Religious History of the Jews, Columbia University Press, NY and Jewish Publication Society, Philadelphia, 1952, Volume 1, pp 170-171. D. Seneca, Ad Lucilium Epistuli Moralis, Volume 3, Epistle XCV.47, pp 87-89. E. St. Augustine, City of God, Modern Library, Random House, 1950, 611, p. 202. F. Seneca, Ad Lucilium Epistuli Moralis, Volume 1, Epistle XLVI, pp. 299 to 300. G. Tacitus, Annals, 1554, 71. H. Having destroyed the temple, Piso could then have Jesus, whom he was predating to 40 years before the temple's destruction, prophesy the destruction because of the Jews' rejection of him. Matthew 23, 37, 38. I. Roman historians, Suet. Nero 49 and Dio Cassius 6329 explain merely that Epaphroditus assisted the emperor's suicide. See also Tacitus, Annals 1555. Footnote 2.
As y'all can
J.
see,
Tacitus,
I'm
Histories
very low budget.
114. K.
It's gonna
Tacitus,
get better though. Watch.
Histories 2,
About to have my
7481.
own network.
L. Tacitus, Histories 3, 2. Footnote 1. M. Tacitus Vespasian relied on Piso because he was grandson of his own brother Vespasian's brother, T. Flavius Sabinus, had married Arria Sr., who was Piso's maternal grandmother. Piso's identity is thus also a Flavian is decipherable from the appearance in the Flavian family line of L. Caecilius Paetus. Townend, Gavin, Some Flavian Connections, Journal of Roman Studies LI 54, 62,
I'm just doing this
1961.
so y'all can
That
kind of
was an
see it.
alias, like Thrasipedus, of Piso's father, L. Calpurnius Piso. See page 20 Supra, wherein Piso himself also is mentioned as a Caecilius Paetus. That is the true reason Piso used the literary pseudonym of Flavius. It was not because of his alleged but untrue and hardly necessary adoption by Emperor Flavius Vespasian. He was in fact a Flavian. Piso humorously used the three.
So we're gonna stop this right here. We're gonna end him out right here because this is so long. It's a lot of information, but I wanted it to cover the part that it covered when it told you about the characters being fictional. So right there, this is what I'm saying. How is it that people go for what was written in Galatians and said by Paul and give that all of the credit to dump the law under the rug? That's what my whole point was on this particular episode here, which this is the completion of are we still under the law? I'm gonna say yeah, but we've been tricked in a crafty, the most crafty way to think that we're not. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this. I think that's why the world is so messed up today the way it is, because it's all secular and it's all from these same folks, the same ones who over there in Palestine right now talking about they the Jews. Um, it is what it is. The Arabs done did what they did to play their hand in the game. This is why right now over here in America, in every so-called Afro-American neighborhood, you got a liquor store on every corner with the Arabs in there and all the other bull shit that they selling us up in them stores. They make sure they got plenty of poison for us to buy, and they got plenty of paraphernalia to sell us, crack pipes and crack lighters and Choy Boy and all of the bull crap that come with the game. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else get to come here, set up shop. The Chinese, the Asians with the nail places and the hair places. Everybody get to come over here and pimp the Afro Americans, but us. We the only ones. You know why? Cause we up under them spells and curses, and we playing right into their hand. We biting the bait, you know. And I'm gonna leave y'all with that. Are we still under the law? Yes, we are. I think we better start back upholding the statutes of Yahweh. And once again, this is tea time with Yahweh. Um, I started this episode out as a continuation of part uh, one, but yeah, tea time with Yahweh and His Christ, Yeshuwah. And as I always say, I am not a preacher, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a reverend, I'm not a bishop, I'm not a clergyman, I'm none of those. I am just simply yours truly, brother Kedwin Yah. I like to bring the facts, I like to bear the facts, and then most of all, I like to share the facts. And with that being said, may all be blessed in this mess. Y'all make sure y'all come back now again, you hear?